Hello, welcome to Exotic Gardening UK with me, Yorkshire Kris. On this week's episode, we're going to do the annual walkthrough video of the garden. So we're going to walk around everywhere, talk about all the plants we see, and we're going to compare it, as we always do, to previous summers and see what changes we have in growth and planting. So join me for probably a 20-25 minute tour of the garden. So we'll start the tour as we always do from the back gate, and we'll go around the garden same way as we do every year. Just cleared the patio at the moment. That's ready for the open day, but lots of seats on there. That's where you get your teas and coffees and cakes. Got some nice pots down here. Some summer bedding. Did that video early in the season looking at what plants we were going to plant. There we can see what we have. Got lots of petunias, and we've also got some nice caffeias in there and fuchsias as well. But now let's have a look at the back garden proper. Go into this wood chip area where the garden opens up a little, and then that's the view you see as you enter the garden proper, with the bamboos, the Barinda 1046 either side of the path that takes you down the garden. And then if we just look across to the right, we have the Trachycarpus nova in a sunny position. We have lots of Persicaria, purple fantasy, that was cut back a few months ago, given the old Chelsea chop, so it's nice and fresh for the open days. We've got this palm, it's a Butia erispatha, very green one. Very elegant foliage and form, really like this palm tree, and extremely hardy as well. As we look further down, we have Gemini sectus palm just there, which is doing well in this spot. And then up we have the Pseudopanax all the way up into the sky. And then past the swing chair, we've got these plants here. We've got these palm trees. These are the Trachycarpus. These are princeps with new leaves unfurling with silvery undersides. And then around here, we have the toilet paper plant here. It's growing well, nice and large, very tender, but very soft, furry leaves used apparently for toilet paper. And then we'll just pan round, see that main bed, see the colour we've got here. We've got a Impatiens on the right, very similar to Himalayan balsam. The bees absolutely adore that one. We have the vivid red flowers of the dahlia here, and also this nice gladioli as well. Behind, not as tall as in last couple of years because of the cold spring and early summer we had. We've got the Canna musifolia that stays in the ground all winter. And the right hand side, we've got all the Trachycarpus palms planted out, including this nice waggy here, true waggy with small leaves rather than a cross with Fortunii. And then we'll head down the garden past this nice Common palm here and the blue bamboo, and we'll just walk through and we'll see what's around the corner. So we've got tree ferns to our left, looking good. To our right, more colour here. That's with more dahlias. Again, they stay out all winter. Tree ferns again to our left, looking good. And then up over here, above and in the blue bamboo, we've got a nice Schefflera here. This is Rhodendifolia. We've also got a Patsia polycarpa over in the distance there. And then let's take a look around the corner. Everything's really filled out well since my last sort of taught-ish video in early July. So a month later, we've got a lot more growth because we've had some decent weather, including, look at this, this is ginger Hedychium forestii, and you can see below that we've got the persicaria with its very nice pinkish purple flowers. And look at the height we've got this year. This is shot up over the last month or so, and that is standing at 2 meters tall. And then we have another forestii here, not as tall, but still looking good. Below that, we've got a little colocasia called Gulgelgensis, or something similar to that. And there's a couple of them around the garden. That's a hardy one that stays out over winter. And in fact, just taking this view, because everything you can see in frame stays out over winter. Obviously the bamboos, the palms, the gingers, the cannas, the dahlias, and the colocasia. What I've added are some of the things like the irisine, which we can see here. Irisine's that red coloured plant in the centre of shot. And we have the variegated yellow leaf form down here, which I take as cuttings every year. This plant here looks a bit like cannabis, but it's not. That's a spider flower, yet to flower. But if we just look across here, we can see in the distance we've got a flower bud emerging off there. Ricinus starting to size up after a very slow start, and Dahlia imperialis, which has got to about 1 meter, 20 meter and a half. That'll get to about 3 meters by the end of September. More dahlias around here. Got the nice Amesia zygomeris, beautiful shaped leaves, and it started flowering. So they're the flowers, those yellow pea-like flowers, not these purple patches. They're just appendages on the stems. That's a wonderful shrub from Brazil, Mexico. It's really nice. One issue I've had, although you can see the flowers are still looking beautiful on this tobacco plant here, is I had lots of tobacco plants. These have actually come back from last year, so I didn't sow these seeds, but they've got a sort of issue on the leaves. So you can see on there, got some different coloured patches, and I've actually pulled out most of these over the last few days because they look much worse than this one. Here we have Canna alisteinii. You can see if we move up, you can see that's flowering now. Not the most amazing flowers, nice apricot orange flowers, but a nice tall canna that's hard and stays out year round. And that's what I like. I like the exotic look, but I want plants that are easy to look after on the whole. Yes, I put effort with some things, but most plants stay out all winter. And as you can see, put on a great show, even when we've had a cold spring and early summer like this year. So we'll just go around again. Got more toilet paper plants, which is a Plectranthus. I think it's Plectranthus barbatus. And then we've got a Tophonia, Mexican sunflower. Much smaller this year, because normally they get huge in my garden, over 2 meters. But this is flowering at just 1 meter tall, and that's looking nice. And we've got some zinnias down here. More foliage plants, including the nasturtiums that self-seed and just do their own thing every year. Got a nice canna here. This is a nice purple leaved one. And then more zinnias yet to come. We'll do a full 360 round. You can see a couple of things that just missed, and that's including these more gladioli, zinnias, and dahlias. Lots of bright, vivid reds and oranges working well together. I like the strong colours. And then we'll just finish the 360 and move onwards. Here we've got a nice Inula magnifica. It's flowering down here because I cut off the main stem because it's covered in black fly, and I was trying to delay flowering because it normally flowers far too early for my open days, but this year I've got it the other way around. It's not quite flowering. Some nice showy begonias here. Again, these are left out all winter and just come back every year, so it's nice to see that they can do that. Got some bananas in there, begonia luxurians, got the fatsias, clerodendron, and tree ferns in the distance. So we'll go back round, past the cannas, and then I think we need to look up, because up here we've got this amazing Schefflera, and look how much growth it's put on. That is a lot of growth. That's over 50 centimetres in spring this year. Covering this area now, giving a little bit of shade to the jungle hut behind, so that's looking fantastic. Really pleased with that one. Nice and hardy, it's multi-stemmed, and that's from a small plant about 5-6 years ago, and now it's about 2.5 meters tall and a good 1.5 meters wide. And if I just go around the other side, you can see the leaves on this one and how it's got multi-stems, so really pleased with that. Actually, while we're here, let's just look behind. We've got the Persicaria red dragon down here, and that's sort of scrambling all over the ground, covering this area. Behind it, we've got more Trachycarpus palms, including the diminutive Trachycarpus nanus just down in the corner. Hardly see it, just down there. We'll get a better look at all the Trachycarpus when I do my annual Trachycarpus update video. So let's pan back round and look at one of the most impressive plants in the garden, another Schefflera, Schefflera macrophylla. And because we've got no late frost this year, although it was a cool spring, last year's leaves have held out pretty well, and then we've got this year's flush looking fantastic up there as well. Bronzy indimentum on the back of the leaves and the new leaves. Beautiful plant. Just back away and you can see that in all its glory there. Fantastic. Loquat tree to the right of it here, and then below we've got this nice Aralia or variegata. Beautiful foliage on this one. That's actually flowering at the moment. Above that is the ever impressive Gunnera cryptica with the huge leaves. I've cut quite a lot of the leaves off so we can get by the path because it's ever expanding, and also the wind in a dryish period did damage quite a few of these leaves, so I've just kept the best ones on. And something I want to show you that I've not shown in previous years really is this. This here, take a closer look at ground level. This is a very hardy begonia. Begonia tufts are grown for the huge leaves, which this one's got, I'd say, medium-ish to big leaves, but the leaves can get even bigger than this. These are about 30 centimetres across for the biggest ones there. Beautiful hardy begonia. It's come back several years now. And another begonia with more serrated leaves, but much smaller. You can see the size difference in those. So let's carry on through the garden, past some more hardy begonias at ground level, past the grasses, got the miscanthus either side of this walkway. Now let's push over the bridge. As we go forward, you can see the archway is gone from last year. So if you watched previous videos, you'd have noticed there's an archway here, but instead that's gone. And you've got the impressive view here to the Jabea chilensis palm tree. Magnificent palm. What is it now? 4 meters across, 4 meters tall, something like that. Probably a bit wider than that now. And the archway plants have had the chocolate vines, which have still survived, and they're actually growing here along the balustrade above the ponds. And if I turn left, we've got the waterfall here. We've got the Trachycarpus princeps hybrid to the left, and the Gunneria tinctoria to the right, and various ferns and other plants down this area. If you just zoom in, you can see the waterfall down there. And if I lift up, we can see, carry on up, we've got a nice pink flowering hydrangea chocolate there, really nice. So that's a pond area. Looks like a stream running across the garden because it continues onto this side. And here we've got a water lily in the pond. Needs a bit of tidy up actually in this area. I'll do that quickly before the open day in a few days' time. Got the princeps palms, we've got the yucca, we've got the daylilies, all looking nice in this part of the garden, very green, and a trachycarpus, petunii, and bamboos in the distance there. So back to the Jabea here, and we'll move forward. And the path goes round two ways. We can go to the right, or we can go to the left. And we're going to go left. We're going to go round this path. First of all, we're going to stop and admire these amaranthus that have just self-seeded from previous years. Giant form from Chiltern Seeds many years ago. And they just come back from the ground every year. New plants from seed and starting to flower now. As we go around, got the more trachycarpus. We've also got a polycarpet down there. The hydrangea coming through, scrambling this way. The rhododendrons there, that grass, tall grass, goes up into the sky up there. Here we have a Nephophia northii that flowered a while ago. And we also have this nice Xanthodecia pink mist, quite a nice flower there. So it's a whitish cream with a pink at the centre, so slightly different from the white form or the green goddess form that you might have seen before. We've got a few colocasia pink chinas down here underneath the amaranthus in this area. And then we've got, as a bit of a divide for the hedge here, we've got the New Zealand privet, which will need trim back again soon. And we'll follow this gravel path round that I made last year. But before we go too far round, we'll turn to the right and look across my arid area, my desert plantings, where we've got the yuccas, several planted here. We've got the Chimaerops cerifera down here, looking nice, nice bluish leaves. And then underneath the Jabea, we've got the agapanthus flowering, come out year after year. We've also got a rather nice specimen here of colocasia pink china, quite large leaves on that one. And the Tigridia, so these come in several versions, yellow, pink, whitish and orange ones. They flower for a day, but then there's many flowers come on each stem. Aricema, conguinicium, there was wavy leaves over there and it does flower. I think we've got some flowers hiding under the foliage over there. So let's go back to the path and follow it around a bit more and come to another bed that I do nothing with, which is full of self-seeders, which we've got nasturtiums that the bees absolutely love down there, more amaranthus, and lots of colocasias, pink china. But as we go higher, if we look up, got a wonderful Bootea odorata, huge thing. Bought that as a very small plant many years ago now, and now it's got to a large specimen size, starting to trunk these enormous leaves that I'll tie back before the open day so we can get through. Looking magnificent. And to the right of that, got one of my favourite palms, Bria armata, with the steely silvery blue leaves. Absolutely gorgeous on that one. Underneath, we've got my agaves, So we've got Montana. And shall we have a look? Yeah, let's get a bit closer. Let's go down here past a yucca that we divided last year. And then we've got some more yuccas as we spin round. There's the on there. Then if we spin round a bit more, we can see here the agave montana and americana there, looking very nice. And then another view of the amata palm with the bamboos behind. So let's go back to the main path. Some nice colocasias there. Again, they come back year after year and form these huge clumps. Here we have some plants I didn't plant actually, Mombretia there. Normally try to get rid of it, but this year I thought, why not just let it do its thing and flower, and it does look nice. The Petasites down there, variegated type, that's just doing its thing in that corner, that shady corner. And the path to the right is pretty much going to be dug up after the open day. He's going to redevelop this part of the garden, and that will be planting area. And the path we're going to take over the open days is this one here. So we'll go down this. I'll just take you up. You can see a wheelbarrow in the distance, but not really concerned with that. We've got bamboos, and then we've got the tree ferns here. And I'll be honest with you, I've probably watered these 3 times this year, that is it. I've let them get on with it in the shady area. What I've done, I put my fingers in the crowns and it's still moist in there, so I've not felt the need to water these at all. So we'll see how that develops over the next few years, but they're looking good. And they've got a canopy above them from the laurel next door, so they're looking fine down there. And then sort of bypass this bed a bit, so let's have a closer look. It's full of large palms now, and I've been waiting for these to get taller and taller so we can actually walk underneath them and around them for this part of the garden. Because last year this part of the garden wasn't open for the open days because it was too much foliage to get through. As you can see, they've got taller now, cut off some leaves and we can get through. And these are Princeps hybrid palms. And look at the leaves, beautiful big leaves. Not as silvery blue as true Princeps, but they've still got a nice glaucous look to them. Fantastic plants. That's another look in there. And we've got a very large Trachycarpus, very large should I say, Tetrapanax, which we'll have a better look at once we get a bit further away. So if we just turn around, just show you the aspects of my garden. Cut down a bit of a hedge, and as you can see, we've got a bit of wildlife, or domestic wildlife, because we've got cows just at the bottom of the garden. And yes, they do like eating plants. They'll eat the bamboo, they'll eat the fatsias down here. That's why the hawthorn hedge has been planted to stop them getting in too far. Anyway, back to the garden. We've got the tree ferns from this view, the eucalyptus tree, and then we can see now from a distance, if I pan up, we can see the Tetrapanax up there, huge plant. Now it's about 4 meters tall, and also the Princeps palms there. Here we've got various bamboos, including Vivax, Chiskea, Shanghai 3, which has never done anything amazing. But down here is one that people thought I'd photoshopped when I show the colours of it, and it's dulled down a bit now, but look at that bluish colour here. This should be iridescent, and then as we get near the top, it was a reddish, pinkish, bluish colour. It's faded a little bit now, but you can see beautiful bamboo there. Here we have another bootia, but the bamboo sort of growing into the bootia. It's a little bit of a mess in terms of the plantings here. Could do with a bit more space, but that's how it is. Letting the bamboos do their thing. And then this is the view back towards the Airy Garden. So we'll take this path down, past ground cover plants like the Tradescantia, more irisenes, more Giscaeocoelins. We'll stop for a second, look at the backlit Britomata to the right, and then to the left, more bamboos, cordylines, Melianthus, and we'll take this path down. And you can see one thing I've had to really sort of stick back is this echium. All my echiums died apart from this one. The others were much bigger and better, but in a slightly more open position, literally a few meters over there. They died in winter, but this one survived. And if it gets through next winter, it will definitely flower. So let's just continue round past this European fan palm here, Chimerops humilis, with quite a large trunk now. It's about 1.5 meters of trunk with all these old flowers on. And then the leaves obviously above that, over 2 meters tall. And then we'll go down this path. We've got various salvias down here. We've also got my aeoniums down here as well, mixed in with colocasias. Lots of colocasias. Look, these stay out all winter and they're flowering. Beautiful, vivid red salvia down here as well. And then over to the left, we've got this pineapple lily, Paulaventii, one of the biggest pineapple lilies. Plenty of those getting ready to flower. Not every year they flower in profusion, but this year we've got plenty of flowers coming. Another Amesia, small Amesia, intermingled with the bamboo there. And the Princeps, Trachypis princeps by the stream by the pond here. And then we'll just finish off. There's a view of the jungle hut and the miscanthus grasses. And that's a full tour of the garden. So we do this every year to see how the big mature plants are growing and getting bigger and bigger, how the annual plants are looking different, and we can compare it year on year because I do the filming at the same time every year at the start of August. So thank you for watching this edition of Exotic Gardening UK. Join me next week where I'll be doing more